Good morning. We will start a new chapter in science, light, reflection and refraction, session 1. So the branch of physics which deals with the study of light is called as optics. So in that, a particular part what we are studying here is about reflection and refraction. Basically, we all know what is light. Light is a form of energy which enables us to see things around us, right? That means without light we cannot see. Now suddenly you enter a dark room, you won't be able to find what things are kept, right? You can't see anything in the dark room. And when you switch on the light, all things are visible to you. That is, light enables us to see the things around us. So when we talk about these two terms here, reflection and refraction, about reflection we have already studied a part of it in standard 8. So what do we call as a reflection? So if you have to define a reflection, it is nothing but bouncing back of a ray of light, from the bouncing back of a ray of light from a smooth surface. Definitions all are given in the notes, you can refer that. Bouncing back of a ray of light is called as a reflection. Now what do you mean by the word a ray of light? So when we talk about a ray of light and bunch or beam of light, we have heard these two terms, right? Usually a ray of light, a beam of light. So both are two different terms. Now when we talk about a ray of light, it is a single light which is passing. One light which is passing. When we talk about a beam of light, it is nothing but a bunch of light together which is falling on a surface. That is the difference between a ray and a bunch of light. So we usually use the term ray of light here in this part. Bouncing back of a ray of light from a smooth surface is called as a reflection. Now why did I use the word smooth surface here? So again, basic recapitulation. Light reflection is possible on the smooth surface, not on the rough surface. We also call that as a regular reflection and irregular reflection. Now when we talk about a reflection part, what is reflection? An image, what we see, that is nothing but a reflection. Now suppose I bring a new steel plate at home. Now can I see my reflection in this? Yes, of course I can see my reflection, but not as, of course, how you see it in the mirror, it will not be like that, but still you can see your reflection, a new one. The same steel plate, you use it, there are many scratches on that, and then try to see your reflection. You cannot see. That means that's something about smooth surface, that's more important. That is regular reflection, irregular reflection. Now here children, in this introduction, it's a very small part what I will cover because there is nothing much you have to know about this. The main basic things will start about reflection when we talk about mirrors and its different types. But to know that, this introduction is must and should. So about reflection when we talk, regular reflection, irregular reflection. So in regular reflection what will happen is, whatever a ray of light will fall on the surface, that will reflect back easily. That means we can see a reflection. We can see a reflection in the still water. That means it is smooth surface. We cannot see a reflection in the disturbed water. Disturbed water is throw a stone in the water gets disturbed. Disturbance is sentiments, it is nothing but a wave. You cannot see your reflection. Now suppose you have a plain window, or you can say a fine finished marble tiles or something at a particular angle, you can see a reflection in that. But if I have a wall, can I see my reflection in the wall? No, we can see a shadow at a particular angle, but not a reflection. So reflection is possible only if the surface is smooth. Why? The ray of light which falls on the surface has to reflect back. Now what happens in the irregular surface? So when the ray of light falls, it will reflect but in different angle. So if ray of light is like this, it will reflect like this. Ray of light is falling, it might reflect like this. So the reflection is not proper. Now Now, what type of reflection, or when the ray of light falls on the surface, how should it reflect? That means we can see it clearly. That is something which we call that as a law of reflection. So basically there are two laws of reflection, right? Refraction also there are laws, children, but the first part of this what we study is about reflection. So what are the two laws of reflection which you have already studied in standard 8? So basically if I had just draw a figure for this is a mirror. So a ray which falls on the mirror, that ray is called as an incident ray. This incident ray, when it falls on the mirror, that will reflect back. The ray which hits the mirror and reflects back is called as reflected ray. Bounces back, what you can say. Bouncing back of a ray of light is called as a reflection. So the ray of light which hits the mirror and bounces back is called as a reflected ray. Now, to this incident ray and reflected ray, if we draw an imaginary line which is perpendicular to the mirror and that is in between the incident and the reflected ray, that ray is called as normal. These experiments and all you have done, children. If you place a protractor and take a laser and a mirror, of course, why protractor? Because my incident ray is falling at a particular angle, let us say 60 degree. So from the protractor, what I say, at 60 degree angle, I am leaving the incident ray to fall on the mirror, right? The reflected ray also comes out to be 60 degree, which is bouncing back. So what will be the laws? The first laws tells us that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. This is the first law of reflection. Second law, the incident ray, I'll just use the word IR, the reflected ray and the normal all lie in the same plane. They are in the same plane here. We studied about coplanar and all in your previous class or in mathematics what we studied, at least not this year, but in the last year or in your lower classes. But that means they lie on the same plane. Now collinear means what? They lie on the same line. Coplanar means what? They fall or they lie on the same plane. That is called as a coplanar. Incident ray, reflected ray and the normal lie on the same plane. So if they ask you what are the laws of reflection, usually it's a very rare question to be asked because it's a very simple thing. Reflection also can be asked. In case if they ask you this, you need to explain with the statement. It's given in the notes, children. The incident angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Incident ray, reflected ray and normal all lie in the same plane. And the figure is must and should. When you draw a ray, see this is also a kind of a ray diagram, what I can say, where you can show the light ray falling on the mirror, light ray reflecting. Simply if I draw it like this and tell you this is incident ray, this is reflected ray, this is normal. How do I know on which direction is the incident ray falling on the mirror, right? Now we did electricity chapter where I told you was flow of current is very important to be shown in the circuit diagram. It has to move from the positive terminal to this way. It can't go from negative because from negative terminal electrons flow. Similarly here I should know from which direction is the light ray entering. That's more important here. If you draw this you will get 0. Even if you write this is incident and this is reflected. Ray, where it is coming, the arrow mark is very important in the ray diagram. Incident ray and this arrow should go this. Reflected ray. Very clear in this part. So in basic part I'll just repeat once again. So reflection definition is bouncing back of a ray of light from the smooth surface is called as a reflection. Two laws of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. The incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal all lie on the same plane along with the figure. Then we also should know that what are the different two types of reflections, regular reflections and irregular reflections. Now apart from this, when the light ray falls, we also get the image formation, right? So what is the image? What are the two different types of image? We'll see that now. So the next point what we have to understand here is, what is an image? An image is a point where at least two light rays actually meet or appear to meet. So you see the difference here, they actually meet or they appear to meet. So what do you mean by this? Based on this, there are two types of images formed. When the image actually meet, a type of image is formed, and when the image appear to meet means they don't actually meet. We have to do artificially make the rays to meet. We have to do in the sense, nobody will go there and make artificial arrangement and the rays will meet. That's when they do not meet naturally. The images which actually appear to meet naturally all by themselves, that is when the ray of light is passed, they bounce back or they reflect or how whatever possible ways that we see here. Such a type of images are called real images. Real images can be obtained on the screen. Real images are always real and inverted. Now, only one thing what you understand here, children, is the two things here. What is an image? Image is a point where at least two light rays actually meet or they appear to meet. The images which are formed when the rays actually meet are called as real images. When they appear to meet, they are not natural. We have to produce them to meet. They are called as virtual images. So real inverted means what? Virtual and erect means what? You will study that once we actually start with the ray diagram. Now see, one thing I'll tell you. The classes what we are conducting, they are not real classes, right? They are not real classes. Real classes would be the one if it was conducted, I am teaching and you are sitting right in front of me. That is called as a real physical classes, correct? What are virtual classes? This, what is happening right now, are sort of virtual classes. They are the classes where I am explaining, but you are not physically there right in front of me. Such a type of class is called as a virtual classes, right? So images also we have that type only. That's why they are called as virtual images. They are not naturally appearing, but we make them to appear, make them to meet. You understand them much better and clearly once we start with the ray diagrams. But here you need to know what are these real and virtual images. Usually virtual images are formed by plane mirrors. Now here real images are formed by the image formed in the cinema source or what we see, that's a real inverted images. Pinhole camera, what we get? Real inverted. So actually if you are going to construct a pinhole camera, when you see usually when you see anything, a tree, a coconut tree, the coconut tree appears to be inverted, right? Yes, it's the same thing. Now when I see something outside, actually I can see everything straight. But actually how my eyes are adjusted to see that when we see something out, the rays will fall on that will again bounce back, it will fall on a particular point. You will study that further. That is how a real inverted image is formed. When it again comes back, I get to see a proper image, right? That is how it works. Virtual and erect images are how you know. Whatever is the size, it is the same thing. Now, the image what we see in the mirrors, what mirrors do we have at home? What type of mirrors do we have at home? We all have plain mirrors at home. Whatever is your size of an object, the same thing appears in the mirror. So we don't study anything much about that, about plane mirror or image formation. Also it's a basic simple thing what is given. So then next one more thing what you have to know here is lateral inversion. Now what is lateral inversion? The image what appears on the mirror is actually a lateral inversion. Just take a pen and stand in front of a mirror. So you are actually holding a pen in your right hand, but in the mirror it appears as a, or see for example you have a mole on your face, chin or head, forehead, anywhere. If it is on the right side, in the mirror it looks the opposite. Your right looks left and your left looks right. Simple. If you take some numbers, like how will the number 9 appear? How will the alphabet P appear in the mirror? That is called as a lateral inversion. Have you seen how is the letter ambulance written always? That's in the form of a lateral inversion. So nothing much to discuss on this part. We'll next move to the spherical mirrors. Now, or we'll next move to the mirrors, what I can say here. What are the different types of mirrors and how are the different types of ray diagrams to be done in these mirrors? We'll study now. Now, the actual part of the lesson here, which is reflection and refraction, the reflection part actually starts here. So, what are spherical mirrors? It is a part of a reflective spherical surface. It is nothing but a spherical mirror. Now, when we talk about a spherical mirror, it is nothing but it is a part of a reflective spherical surface. Just imagine we have a round spherical, okay, you have a ball, okay, which is nothing but a sphere shape. That is nothing but made out of mirror. It's a whole mirror, okay, one whole mirror, what you can see. From that one whole mirror, if I just cut one part, right? If one part is cut, this one part is nothing but a spherical mirror. Got it? Just one from whole sphere, I just cut one part. So when I cut that part, what is that shape what I have got here? It's like this. So this one part is nothing but a part of a reflective spherical surface. Now this part when I cut of a spherical mirror, I obtained two types of mirrors in that. Concave mirror and convex mirror. So here the main thing is to know what is concave and what is convex. Concave mirror. Now the name itself have a cave in it. Now what is a cave? Cave is what we say in Hindi as a gufa, right? So you can enter the cave. So what I can write here, how you have to, if you have to enter the cave, there should be a passage to enter. So this part, if I draw, see it is curved, it's like a cave. Something can enter here. That is why it is a concave mirror. So it is, mirror is nothing but what I told you, it is a part of a reflective spherical surface which is not but a glass, right? So if a light ray will fall on this glass, what will happen? It will come out from other side, true? But I don't want the light ray to come, enter and just pass from other side. But rather what do we want? We want that light ray to enter and bounce back. Reflection we want. So what we do? We paint the other side. We make the other side rough. We paint it black. So always remember, when you draw a mirror, it should be always represented like this. Now this is concave mirror. That means this is my reflecting surface. Cave. A ray can enter into a cave. Concave. That's a hint to remember, children. Now why am I repeating this cave? Hint, you can enter it. That's only because today you are all fresh and fine. I know what is concave. I remember what is convex. After a month, after a week, you have an exam. So a ray diagram or anything is asked on concave or convex. You get confused because I've seen children getting confused between concave and convex. The same again further concept you have on concave and convex, lens. If you understand mirror thoroughly, the lens will be the other way of it. So the hint is cave here. Always remember. If you remember concave mirror, only if you remember concave mirror, children, convex mirror can be easily remembered. How? Concave and convex lens also can be easily remembered just by remembering one concave mirror. Remember that. So remember cave, which you can enter. That means light ray can get inside. And always learn to shade this part. That's because very important. Otherwise it will become like a glass. When you show that ray are entering like this and it is reflecting back, you will get total zero. Why? Because you have not shown any mirror here, wherein you have shown a piece of a glass. If you want to show a mirror, the reflecting surface should be shown. It is painted black. So this is a part where the light rays can enter. We'll come to the convex mirror later. So about convex, we will about its features and how the light rays enter into it, we'll discuss in the second part after this. So now as I had told, it is a part of a spherical mirror. So suppose if this is the concave mirror, if I have told, this is the reflecting surface, right? That means if I just add to it what it could be, from what I could have taken the part, I could have taken the part of it from this spherical surface. Just imagine, yes. So if it is a part of a spherical surface, children, that means it is a spherical surface, means it will have a center that is called as C. A circle has a center, and if I extend this line here, this point where it actually cuts in between of the lens, between of the mirror, that is called as P, where C is called as center of mirror it is, but we call that as center of curvature, and P is called as pole of the mirror. All the measurements for the mirror are always taken from the pole. Now for example, what do you mean by this? If I have a scale, so assume that this is my scale. How do I take the measurement from the scale? Wherever I want, I'll start taking measurement. I have to measure this board. You just imagine that. I'll start taking from here, no, right? From where do I measure? I measure from 1 always, correct? Similarly here, any measurements what we take in the lens are always taken from the pole to the other side of it, whichever side it is. Now here it will be this side. So always the measurements are considered from the pole, not from the curvature. That's very important. That is something about sign conventions. You will learn that again here. That one point. So all the measurements from, I'll just write from the pole. Okay. So now this is radius, children. Now what I can say here is between this C and P, where C is called as a center of curvature and P is called as a pole of the mirror. Then next, the distance between, center of curvature to the pole, which is actually half of this, that is called as a focus. The center of curvature to the pole, the distance between, the half of these two is called as a focus, or we also call that as a focal point. What is so important about focal point? We will understand that. Before that, the line which connects the center of curvature to the pole is called as principal axis. The line which connects the center of curvature to the pole is called as principal axis. So the distance between, the half of the distance between the center of curvature to the pole is called as focus. This point, okay. The distance between the focus and the principal and the pole is called as focal length of the mirror. These definitions are asked usually. Define the terminologies or the terms associated with the mirrors or with the lens. It is the same thing. This thing what we have to know. So what do you mean by this focus? Now what is focus in general? Focus is something we always say focus on this. The light has to focus on this. That means the light has to exactly fall on that. So focus is something, is a point where the ray of light, when it hits the mirror, see if this is one ray of light which is hitting the mirror, when it hits the mirror, what will happen in the mirror? The mirror has a tendency to reflect, bounce, right? So it will reflect and it will pass through focus. So usually in mirrors, that is in concave mirrors, when we talk about, any ray of light which hits the mirror has to always pass through the focus. That is why focus is a point where the ray of light meet what we can see. It will reflect, after reflection they meet what we can say here. So the terminologies what you have to understand are given in the notes. That is the points what I have mentioned, the definitions for principal axis. See children, it can't be written in your own words. Try to use the same terminologies here what are being mentioned. Principal axis, pole, center of curvature, radius of curvature. Now this is center of curvature, right? What is radius of curvature here? Now center of curvature, the line which joins from C to P, what is that? That is nothing but radius of the circle, which is nothing but principal axis. So that line is called as a radius of curvature. Then we have focus, then we also have a focal length. Now if this is radius, this part are equal, can I say this is r by 2 and this is r by 2? Right? This is half of radius. This is also half of radius because this whole is the radius. These points are very important to know. There's one more thing what I have mentioned here. Aperture, it is the effective diameter of the spherical mirror, which we usually don't, we don't mention that here as an aperture because diameter is usually not mentioned. So these are the points what you have to know about a spherical mirror. What are the things? What is center of curvature? What is focal length? What is focus? What is principal axis? And what is pole of the mirror? Now let us understand the rules of the ray diagrams when we have to draw with respect to the mirrors. So before that, let us also understand one major point. Concave mirror is also called as a converging mirror. Why? What do you mean by converge? That means in a concave mirror, whenever a ray of light will fall, it will all focus, it will converge or it will come and meet at one point. Converging is coming and meeting at one single point. That is called as a converging mirror. What type of a question can be asked here? Draw a ray diagram to show that concave mirrors are converging mirrors, right? So to understand this or to draw this, we need to first understand the rules of the ray diagram. Yes, there are some rules. You all are usually, this chapter might have been covered in your school now. So in some of the schools it's already covered. Most children you have difficulty, you say that we don't understand what to do with the ray diagram, how to remember ray diagram, when to pass what ray and through what we have to pass that ray. That's only because you are not aware about the rules of the ray diagram. Once you know a ray passing through this has to come through this only. There are some certain 3 rules what we have to follow. Both in mirrors as well as lens, it is very simple. Mirror, at least we have 2 rays what we have to remember, but lens is very simple than mirror. The main thing is if you understand ray diagrams thoroughly how to draw for mirror, then lens becomes automatically very simple. So let's understand those 3 tricks. First one or the first main important rule is for concave mirror children. For convex it again changes. In the book, in the notes, I have given the rules one beside the other. That is, I have given the rule number 1 for concave. I have also given rule number 1 for convex, right? But here in the class, I'll first finish about concave and then I'll come to convex. So in concave mirror, the shading part first. So first of all, we have to draw the pole. So if this is the pole children, first of all, one more question lies here is, I have marked the pole here in concave mirror. Where should I mark the curvature? Where should I mark the center of curvature? Where should I mark the focus? Should I mark here or here? Just keep in your mind, this is the spherical mirror. How did I draw? If I imagine it to be a sphere, where is the center of sphere children? This side or this side? Of course this side. That means this should be the center. And always half of the center is F, right? So whenever you are drawing part I'll tell you later what should be the measurement also to be taken. This is something what we draw. The first rule tells us that a ray of light which comes and hits the mirror, right? A ray of light which is parallel to principal axis coming and hitting the mirror always reflects back and passes through the focus. Rule number 1, any ray of light if it is coming parallel and touching the mirror, hitting the mirror, it has to reflect back and that reflected ray will always pass through the focus. That means, see the arrow marks here, first arrow mark, second arrow mark will come here, after focus also it has to come here. Rule number 1. Rule number 2. Rule number 2 is also known as reversibility rule. Now what is that reversibility rule? So again I'll have a mirror here. So let me draw a pole, a curvature, a focus. So any ray of light passing through focus directly. So a ray of light is passing through focus directly, hitting the mirror. From where to focus? I'll draw the ray. So whenever it passes one particular line, children, make sure you have drawn the ray properly. A ray of light which is passing through the focus directly and hitting the mirror, what it has to do? It has to reflect back. How it will reflect? It will reflect in such a way that it goes parallel to the principal axis, right? Reversibility rule. See, a ray of light going parallel to principal axis, hitting the mirror, passes through the focus. Here, a ray of light passing through the focus bounces back by going parallel to principal axis. This can also be drawn like this. Now don't tell in my school teacher has done or in the book it is given like that. This can also be done. You need to only understand the concept here. You have to understand how we have drawn. All the drawings will be the same. Either the ray is coming from down or coming from this side. See, this is curvature and this is F. So now what I will do first here is, I will pass the ray here. The ray of light, yeah, the ray can come from here also, right? The ray of light is passing through what here? Focus. What should be the rule? If it is passing through focus and hitting the mirror, it has to go parallel to principal axis. How the ray should go now? Okay, both are same what I have drawn. This is the second rule. Last rule, rule number 3. So we'll drop this. Don't get confused with convex then. Now rule number 3 is, there is also rule number 4, that's the known rule to everybody. I'll also mention that. Yeah, children, I forgot. This will be the wrong ray diagram if I have not shaded this part, right? So just show the rough surface. This is the pole, this is the curvature, and this is the focus. Now the first 2 points were about the principal axis parallel, going through focus or going through focus back to principal axis. The third option is, any ray of light will pass through the curvature and hit the mirror. Okay? A ray of light which passes directly to the curvature and hits the mirror, it will bounce back in the same 180 degrees. That means it will bounce back in the same opposite direction, in the straight line only. So any ray of light passing through curvature and hitting the mirror will go back in the same 180 degree angle. So this can also be shown like this, children. This is pole, this is curvature, this is F. So what I will do here is now, yeah, correct. Either I bring it from here or either I bring it, no, it's right. It's only one way answer. So any ray which is passing through curvature will always bounce back through the curvature. A ray of light parallel to principal axis hitting the mirror will reflect back through focus. A ray of light which passes through focus and hits the mirror will reflect back with respect to straight as the principal axis. So these 3 are the rules for the ray diagram to be drawn for concave mirror. Now let's see the simple rules for convex mirror, how it is. Now convex mirror, when we talk about, that is also called as a diverging mirror. Diverging is, the rays do not focus at a point but they diverge. This is called divergent, this is called convergent. So based on this diverging and converging nature only, types of mirrors what we use in our day-to-day lives, let that be the rear view mirrors, dentist, or in a headlight, different types of mirrors are used based on their converging and diverging nature, which we will study in the uses part. So let's understand about convex mirror. Now convex mirror, when we draw, the convex mirror is this. That is, this bulged part is the reflecting surface and this is the rough surface. So the ray of lights can enter here. Now see, if you remember concave, convex is the opposite way of it. So this is the rough portion. This is the light which it can enter. Now just imagine, this is the mirror as I have told you. This is the rough surface. Okay. This could have been taken again from a spherical part only. So if I just have a spherical kind of thing here, then that means this is my curvature, this is my focus, and this is my pole. What did we have in the concave, children? In the concave, when we had measurements were all taken from the pole to this side, right? That was going this way. Number line if I talk about, right? This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Minus 1, minus 2. Assume that this is pole. Measurement will go this side for concave. Measurement will go this side for convex. Mirrors I am talking about. Right? Because this is the pole, this is the focus, this is the curvature. Let's quickly understand about the rules for the ray diagrams to be drawn here also. Now, as we have told, in convex, the rays diverge. That means they do not meet. They once the ray hits the mirror, they reflect back in such a way that they diverge it. I mean, they diverge in the other angle. They don't reflect it. How? Let's first understand the rule number 1 here. There also the rule number 1 is same. Yeah, one most important thing I forgot, children, to tell you about concave only. I just come to it. This is pole, this is focus, and this is curvature, right? We understood about curvature and focus. One important thing, any ray which is hitting the pole, where does the ray gets reflected? Any ray which hits the pole, directly hitting the pole, the ray will get reflected in such a way that what? Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, because it is hitting the pole at the center. Remember this, that is not the rule actually, but that we can make use of it any point of time. Our laws of reflection is applied here. Yeah, coming back to this, convex. Let's draw for convex now. Draw the bulk surface. This is the reflecting. Rule number 1. Now when I draw, children, where should I draw? Okay, this is pole. Where should I draw C? C should be here, because spherical mirror, curvature is this side, radius will come here, and this is the focus. From where will the light ray enter? Light ray will enter from here? No, light ray cannot enter when the rough surface is there. Light ray has to enter from this smooth surface only. Light ray will enter. Any ray which is entering or which is moving parallel to principal axis, right? It will hit, it is going parallel to principal axis, it will hit the mirror. Rule number 1. What it has to go there, if it would focus on F here, reflect at F, from F it would pass, but here it will diverge. Okay, it will diverge in such a way that this divergent ray, if I produce it backwards, that ray will pass through F. Got it? See, up here they don't meet, but they appear to meet. We are extending that. So any ray of light, if it is hitting the mirror, it will diverge. The diverging mirror is in such a way that if you produce them backwards, they meet at focus. Rule number 1. So what should be rule number 2? Rule number 2 should be reversibility rule. Now again, same like that. This is the reflecting surface. This is pole, focus, and center. Next, any ray which will directly hitting the mirror, that is, it is hitting like this, in such a way that if I extend it, it will actually pass through focus, that ray. But see, why I have to extend? Because convex mirror will not allow the rays to enter only, to meet only. The minute it goes, it diverges. So the ray which will appear to pass from focus, appear to, not actually passing, the ray which appears to pass from focus, which when hits the mirror like this, it will reflect back or it will diverge in such a way that it is parallel to principal axis, right? Same as that rule only, opposite rule, reversibility rule, they act both. Is this very clear in this one point? Okay. Now the last rule here, what we have to see here is about the curvature rule. Third rule I will write here. So this is pole, this is this is focus, and this is curvature. The ray of light which will actually hit, the mirror here, it will not actually pass through the curvature, but which appears to pass through the curvature. Appears, because they are convex children, we cannot go there and meet them. They appear to meet. A ray of light which hits the mirror in such a way that if you produce them backwards, they can actually pass through the curvature. Such rays, what will happen? What is the curvature rule? They actually, this is the ray which is going like this, they will actually tend to go back in the same direction. That means any ray of light hitting the mirror, assume that ray, if you extend, is going like this, that ray will go back again. That ray will not reflect anywhere else. Same rule. What rule we applied there? The same rule here also, but in the diverging manner, what we have to know. So, based on this, we also learn to draw ray diagram for converging mirror and diverging mirror. That we will study in ray diagrams only when we do and when we start that in our next class. So next class, when I am doing ray diagrams, sit ready with your sharpened pencils, compass and protractor. Because lens, what we have to draw, I can't be telling you all draw a rough lens. Your rough lens will become rough lens only. The lens, the ray diagram what we draw should be very, very neat and crisp enough. So sit ready with your book, pencil, scale, sharpened pencil, scale, protractor and compass. Please go through, revise these rules, because until unless you know the rules, you cannot proceed with the ray diagrams.